I've got a free pick coming up on the Arkansas-Auburn game on Saturday. First, I've got a $500 high roller release on Vegas Sports Masters. Last Saturday, it was Colorado State, covering by 25 points. You can get it for $29 at 888-777-4155. But you must use the code word Jim's High Roller. A $500 play for $29. 888-777-4155. Free pick, Arkansas-Auburn. Arkansas is a big dog, but 5-2 off a 34-30 win as a 9.5-point dog versus Ole Miss. Well-coached team under Brett Bielema. They also beat TCU as a 10-point dog. Auburn, 4-2, lost to Alabama. That's no shame, but they're a big favorite in this game. Play Arkansas.
Things here, and we're going to look at some games, obviously. We'll start talking, revenge. You hear this all the time. Oh, it's a revenge game for so-and-so. I think there's special circumstances where I put some weight into revenge, but for the most part, in football, I don't put much into it at all. Not the same as college basketball. Same season revenge, I think, is definitely a factor. Conference teams that meet twice a year, it's a different sport. It has to be handicapped differently. But in football, I think it's kind of a lesser consideration.
Well, in colleges, teams don't play twice.
Right.
Usually. I mean, there are circumstances where they might, but it doesn't usually happen.
So it's usually revenge from the prior year.
Yeah, that's right. So
a lot of the players aren't even there anymore.
Yeah, a lot of that, and the coaches sometimes change. They're always moving around. But in the NFL, where in division games,
yep,
that does matter as far as revenge, because these division games, which we're going to talk a little bit about, conference and division games a little bit also, but they mean a lot. So when you get beat up by a division rival and then you get that team again, whether home or away, you're usually more motivated for that game than you are for others.
Yeah, and one of the things I like to do in the college is, because there are ways to determine how much revenge really matters. Read the beat writers, because they're getting quotes from the players, and sometimes the players make a point of saying, we remember last year, we really want this game. Well, revenge might matter a little more there. But the other side of the revenge that you've got to remember is usually it's the better team that won, and they might just be the better team again.
Sometimes the quality of the club, you can't get revenge because you just don't have the talent to do it.
All right. So, here, speaking of revenge, Alabama, they didn't have too much trouble with Texas A&M last year. I think it was 41-23 at College Station. They will play again this weekend. So A&M has revenge. I don't think it's going to matter a whole lot.
Well, the point spread is big.
Well, sure, yeah.
16 up to 18.5. It needs to be. There is a point. I mean, if you made the game 38, you might say, hey, that's a little bit much. So there is a point at which you're going to start to look at the underdog here, even though we know they don't have as much talent. So, but look at this stat. I mean, when you look at what Texas A&M gave up to Tennessee, 684 yards against A&M a week earlier, and then Alabama just crushed Tennessee. When you look at that and you say, oh, my God, Alabama's just way too good for anybody.
I think they are way too good, and they got to take the game seriously. John Cranton, who was here last week in Jim's place and does a lot of research for us, he always comes up with some nuggets. Check this out. A&M, 18-44-1 against the spread versus a winning home team. Now, it does tell you something. I mean, it's obviously long-term, but it doesn't necessarily mean it's going to play out each year that way. But what it does indicate is that for quite some time, when A&M has had to step up in class on the road, they have not been able to get the job done. I think that's kind of the case this weekend.
Well, also, this is a newcomer to the SEC.
Yeah.
And in the SEC, they're 18-1 in SEC play. That's against the spread. So you are looking at a tremendous mismatch here, even though the media might build it up because they're both undefeated at this point. But Alabama's way better.
I think they are as well. I don't think I'm going to lay that kind of a number, especially since it's going up. But that's the side I'd look at.